doing things a little different. We just live. We just live. We just talking, chopping it up, celebrating my birthday. So we got a couple of things going on up here at the beautiful W Hotel, right? And I figured, come on here before stepping out. Let's talk about making sure you have everything in order, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of things that's keeping us from getting the bag is really we simply don't have our ducks in a row. So what do I mean? One is having a plan. I'm talking to a lot of folks with no dollar and no dream. And they think that, oh, I can just go get funding and then boom, I'm good. But here's the thing, there's a couple of hurdles, hoops, and loopholes you gotta jump through in order to make that happen. So for instance, there are a lot of banks, community banks, CDFIs, nonprofits, things of that nature, that will give you the funding that you're looking for if you have a plan. I'm talking to people who want 50,000, 30,000, 100,000, and I ask them the most simple question: what do you want to do with the money? And all of a sudden, there's a fumbling of thoughts. It just turns into, as Alex Hormozy said, mouth noise. Because I can see, but it's okay. So what exactly do you want to do? Are you trying to launch a store? Are you going to use it for online marketing? Like, what exactly are you trying to do? Well, I want to see people get healthy. Okay, great. So what are you going to be doing? Are you opening up a clinic? Is it online coaching? Are you opening up a storefront? What is it, right? And not only that, you want to know some of your numbers. Even with CDFIs, they're going to ask you things like, okay, what are your projections, right? You can hop onto ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to create a business plan for you. Even if you don't have amazing credit, guess what? If you have a business plan, they're going to look out for you. They're going to say, okay, we like the way this business plan is looking. We see how you're impacting the community. We see how you have projected, scalable, sustainable growth for your company, right? Include the numbers. This is how much money you need. This is how much money you need. This is why you need it. This is where the money is going to be distributed and who it's going to. We have too many of us just want capital with no reason for it. And that's where you end up taking on 30, 40, 50, $100,000 in debt, and it turns into bad debt because we use it incorrectly. Then our accounts get shut down, your credit cards get frozen, and it's like, man, this thing is a scam. No, you didn't have a plan. These lenders, CDFIs, banks, anyone that's lending to someone that has less than perfect credit is absolutely going to want to have a business plan from you. So let's go through that a little bit, right? And I'm going to give you guys, drop the link later to my free business plan guide, okay? But anybody can do this. You can even use ChatGPT. So I'll start off with the easiest thing, which is giving ChatGPT a prompt so that it can give you a business plan if you don't already have one for your business. So the easiest thing to do is, and this is the work that people don't want to do. This is the boring stuff that people try to avoid. You can't avoid it, especially if you're not in position to go out and turn around and get approved from a bank. So with ChatGPT, all you got to say is, hey, Chat, hey, Chat, I want to create a business plan. In that business plan, include 5-year projections for my company. My company name is blank. The mission And the problem that I solve is blank. My target audience is blank. This is how much I'm projected or estimating to make in the next 5 years. Put together a business plan for me that will be fundable as lenders review it. Chat is going to go through, boom, 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 throw it together for you in like 45 seconds. At that point, all you're doing now is just tweaking what ChatGPT put together for you. You don't have to buy it. You don't even have to buy templates anymore. You could just tell Chat will do it for you. If you have, an iPhone, you can download the app. Well, actually, if you just have any smartphone, you could download the ChatGPT app. And then you're like, man, I'm not that tech savvy. I don't like typing, right? I don't type fast. Cool. ChatGPT now has a button that you could just talk to it. You just pick up your phone and use it like a voice recorder. Hey, Chat, I'm putting together a business plan for my mobile detailing business. I'm located in Richmond, Virginia. I currently have 30 customers, but I'm looking to scale up to about 300 customers in the next 24 months. Draft that up as a business plan for me so I can go get funding from this local community developed financial center. Boom. It runs it. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? And it'll print it out for you, right? It'll just run it. You review it, make sure it meets your situation, right? Because that's one of the things about templates. Everybody's business is unique. Everybody's business is different. But the first thing you want to know and get is, okay, what am I going to do with this money? What we want to avoid is taking on debt to cover our bills. Like, oh, I have child support. I have child support that I gotta pay. I need some funding. Like, no, don't use your funding for child support, bro. That's not the play. That's not the move right now. That's not what we're doing. You're gonna use the funding to, let's say you get a contract. Very real example. I have a client, we're going for funding because he needs trucks because he does medical equipment delivery for hospitals. He just got a new contract. So now he needs 2 box trucks. So all we do, we go out, we get 2 box trucks, right? And now boom, he can start making his deliveries for these hospitals. This one contract that he got at this one hospital is going to generate $288,000 in revenue. That's what the banks want to hear. They want to hear, I'm already out here doing the work. I'm already out here moving. I got things in place. All I need now is to secure the bag so that I can turn this contract into cash flow. And they'll give you the money, right? Of course, they're going to do their underwriting. They're going to check your credit, your utilization, all that stuff. But let's start with at least having a business plan. Let's at least start with being able and being comfortable with telling our lenders and potential investors, because the banks, they're investing into us, right? These CDFIs are investing into us. These grant programs are investing into us, where their money is going, and being confident in that, being confident in the fact that we can make this money grow because we already have something in place. Okay, so you want to be able to do this, and this is for whether you are generating, already doing $100,000 a month, or you're just starting off. Either way, you're going to have to make sure that when you're talking about your business, you're sharing it to other people, you're able to sell it and able to bring that dream to fruition and just lay it out for them. When you're talking to the bank really just only want to hear about your numbers. If you're talking about a CDFI, or anything that's community driven, you want to be able to articulate how this and what you do directly impacts the community. Whether you're talking about how oftentimes, I watch a lot of Operation Hope. John Hope Bryant talks about how there's this huge discrepancy between neighborhoods based off of credit score. Like neighborhoods with a 700 plus credit score are safer and the people have a lower mortality rate, meaning they live longer, right? And they're overall happier. Whereas those that may live in a 4 or 500 credit score neighborhood have a lower mortality rate with a lower lifespan, and typically they're less happy, right? This is how he can articulate and turn something as vague that people like to ignore as a credit score and turn it into something that people can relate to, like longevity of life and your overall quality of life, solely based on having the right type of credit score. Because if you have a higher credit score, you'll be able to live in a better neighborhood, which is generally a safer neighborhood, which also means you typically are probably going to be earning a little more, which means your bills are going to be covered, which reduces your stress levels, right? This is all from the standpoint of just being able to articulate the importance of having a more powerful credit score. Having a more powerful credit score also leads to better funding opportunities. It leads to better housing opportunities, right? It leads to being able to get access to capital a lot easier for your business. So I'm up here in the beautiful Philadelphia area, right? Some of the banks, you hear a lot about these different institutions. Citizens Bank is wonderful. They pull Equifax. Key Bank is also available up here. They also pull Equifax as well. We're still in the Truist footprint, right? And we also have a lot of local credit unions up here that I'm going to be exploring and learning a little bit more about, right? But in the meantime, y'all, make sure you put your business plan together. When you watch the replay of this, if you're looking to get help with a business plan or even getting a business plan template, just drop the word business plan in the comments on the replay and I'll shoot you a link to the business plan. There's no additional charge for it because, again, I want to make this easy for us because it's going to get harder. It's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder. It's going to get harder to make money. It's going to get harder to get access to capital. We saw Trump, right? What he did, already cut DEI. So that not only is that DEI for jobs, but as those that contract with the government, it makes it that much more difficult for any kind of minority business to get contracts for the government now, right? Merit-based and all that, that's cool, but let's not act like the good old boy club doesn't exist. If it didn't exist, we wouldn't have a term for it. Like, let's just be clear about that. If it didn't exist, we wouldn't have a term for it. The mere fact that it has a name means that it is a thing, right? So what that means is that that good old boy club is going to become even stronger. You want to always stay in position, or at least if you're out of position, you want to know how to get back into position. Because this DEI is not just about employees, W-2 employees. It's about business owners too. It's about those that are working with the government who are going for contracts, right? It also is about business owners as far as the type of funding that's going to be available to them. Because some of these DEI initiatives were getting funding so that then they could turn around and give out more funding. They could give out grants, right, to small business owners, to minority institutions. Some of these CDFIs are literally geared towards immigrants. Some of them are literally geared to the Latino and Hispanic communities. Some of them are literally geared to the Asian community, the Indian community. So when we're talking about limiting funding, right, for these type of initiatives, it makes it more difficult for everybody. It makes it more difficult for everybody. He literally, for whatever reason, literally paused the distribution of grant funding across all agencies. That makes it that much harder to fund your business. We have to always be in position. If you don't have a business plan, get a business plan. There are community development organizations that will need to see a business plan from you. If you don't have great credit, get your credit together. The banks are going to run your credit when you go for funding. If you're not making a lot of income, skill level up, right? Skill up, make more income, get a job. If you don't have a job, get a job, right? If you're working for yourself and you're not getting enough clients, it's okay to do something else. Add on another stream of income. It's okay to build your business and work a job. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you're currently a 9-to-5 employee, start a side hustle. There's nothing wrong with that. Learn the trade. Learn how to just sell whatever skill that you have so that it can turn into some side money, right? Learn how to make an extra $1,000 to $5,000 and put that money into a business bank account. If you have a business, you don't already have a business bank account, get a business bank account. These are some very simple fundamental things that a lot of us are skipping over, and we're like, man, I don't want to hear all that, Jamal. Just tell me what bank to go to. Just tell me what bank to go to. Oh, I just want to know what bank pull Experian. It don't matter what bank pull Experian if you don't qualify. If you don't qualify, right? I can say Christian Community Credit Union pulls Experian. American Express pulls Experian. Chase pulls Experian. Bank of America pulls Experian. Key Point Credit Union pulls Experian. I can list these different bank institutions, but if your credit not right, it doesn't matter. If your business isn't formed properly, it doesn't matter. If you aren't generating income in your business, it doesn't matter. Because knowing the bank is one thing. Knowing how to qualify for the funding is another thing. Do you qualify? Do you know what the bank needs to see from you? Because here's the thing. Now that we're in this new phase, we're literally at the end game of all of this. Because the banks are reverting back to having to need and require some kind of reserve. Right now we got the fractional reserve, right? Fractional banking, where they don't have to keep any of the money that we give them on hand in order to lend it out. That's how it is right now. But by summertime, guess what? They're changing it to where the banks are going to need at least 10% of everything that they lend out. They're going to need to hold on to 10% of that. What does that mean? That means the days of going to a bank, walking in fresh off the street and being like, hey, I got a 700 credit score, give me some money. Those days are over, right? Unless you have a relationship with the bank. They're not going to be funding you just off the rip, especially as a business. As a business, they want you now to have some type of relationship. They want you now to open up an account, make a deposit for 3 to 6 months before they actually lend you anything, right? That's where we're moving to. That's where we're moving to. That's where the banks are going, because they need to have reserves, and they need to build up reserves because for the past 5 years, they've given it all out. They've given it all out. Now they need to build those reserves back up. So we want to be doing the same thing. We want to make sure we're building our reserves. We want to make sure that we're building our savings accounts, our brokerage accounts, our retirement accounts. We want to make sure we're building that up, and we're building with these banks, because the banks aren't going to be giving out the bag as easily as they once were. So knowing this and understanding that, hey, you're going to need to be banking with this institution for 3 to 6 months before they give you any capital whatsoever. What can you be doing for that 3 to 6 month time frame? You could be building up your cash flow. You can be closing more deals. You can be working on your credit. You can be making sure that your business is structured properly. You're registered with the state. Your business is in good standing. You filed your annual reports, because when any of these things are out of alignment, it makes it that much more difficult for you to get funding. Okay? Let's get in position. Citizens Bank is one of them. They want you to have a banking relationship with them. They pull your personal and your business credit. They check both. They want to see that both are in good standing, or both are in a good position, right? It's all about being in position, staying in position. And if you don't know how to get into position, you can learn how to get into position. Funding, the game is changing. The requirements are changing. You want to be ahead, and you want to know what those requirements are. You want to know how to make sure you can always stay in position. So even if you fall out of touch, you can get yourself back up and get back in the game quickly, because you already know the rules. You can never win a game if you don't know the rules that you're playing by. It's just that simple. You can't win a game if you don't know the rules. It's very easy, right? So I want you guys to know the rules. I want you guys to be able to play the game properly, right? I launched an online community. It is a paid community where the goal is we're taking everything, right? Direct data points, resources specific to 2025, and putting that together in the community so that we can all level up, we can all grow. Not regurgitated information. Information is coming directly from the source. If you're watching this, you want the link to join the community, click, leave a comment, and I'll also put the link to join in the comments